Zappe fever is the best thing that could have happened to the New England Patriots, but not in the way that you think. The Countess and I have you covered, so settle in. You're about to be locked into the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful, and thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage and also your firsts in every day. Remember, Locked On Patriots is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So smash that subscribe button, download, subscribe to, and follow Locked On Patriots wherever you get your podcasts. I am your host, Mike Debate. I cover your New England Patriots for Patriots Country of Sports Illustrated. Reach out to me. Let me know what's on your mind at MDABATENFL. And while you're out there showing some love to the Twitterverse, please be sure to follow the Locked On Patriots account as well at LO_Patriots. And as you can see, folks, it is Wednesday, the midway point in the week, and we need a little midway wisdom and counsel. And that's exactly what we're getting from our good friend, a columnist extraordinaire for Pat's Propaganda, as well as the co-host of One Patriots Place, which is a podcast we all know very well here on Locked On Patriots, for our two good friends, Thomas Murphy and Steve Balistrieri. But most importantly, she is the host of her very own Patriots podcast, one of the best listens you'll find anywhere in Patriots media. She is the Countess of Class herself, the Empress of Tight Endage. ClazzyClare Cooper joins me here today. Countess, thank you so much for joining me from across the pond.
You're welcome. It's Wednesday. Where else would I be?
Absolutely. Wednesdays were made for the Countess here on Locked On Patriots, and they were also made for a little clairvoyance. And we're going to get into that in a little bit, folks, because the clairvoyance meter broke off on Sunday. Big time predictions. And she definitely nailed each and every one of them. But of course, folks, please remember that today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn helps you find the candidates you want to talk to, and they help you do it faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. And Claire, if I had told you that a rookie quarterback comes into New England, takes the reins from the incumbent starter who has to go down due to an injury, completes 51 of 70 passes for 596 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Really the bulk of that done in 2 games worth of work. I know he had most of the snaps in week 3 against the Green Bay Packers, but we're looking at a juggernaut that is absolutely ripping Zappe fever through New England right now. Most of the way people would sit there and say, you know what? Kid's playing well. We're winning 2-1 in his games, 2-0 in his starts. Mac was struggling coming out of the break, didn't look comfortable in this offense. It almost seems like a no-brainer. Hit the road, Mac. And all of a sudden now Zappe Mania comes in and he's going to take the reins. But you and I both know that it's not quite that simple. There's a lot of nuances determining who is going to be your starting quarterback. So when you look at the situation, I think I may have tipped my hand a little bit when I introduced this segment in the show, but what are your thoughts on the quarterback situation right now in New England? Is this a good thing for the New England Patriots? Is this a competition that we're dealing with here? Or is there something maybe that the fan base is not getting here? What is your take right now on what's going on in New England when it comes to Bailey Zappe and Mac Jones?
Well, primarily, Mike, I think it's a good thing because as Patriots fans, we could look at this and say Mac Jones was reasonably successful last year, in his rookie season. So we've got someone that's the number one quarterback, if you like, who's relatively successful. He's got good positive traits that we see as a Patriots quarterback. And if you kind of mark Zappe as number 2, particularly while Hoyer is on IR, that sort of thing, and you look at Zappe, potentially he was brought in as the future backup anyway. So if you look at it like that, what we've seen is we've got a really good number 2 as well, if you like. I mean, the thing with Zappe is that that kind of maybe are sort of driving the fans wild in regards to Zappe fever. The symptom of the fever might be expectation, because Zappe was 4th round pick. So the expectation on him was lower than it would have been when they drafted Mac Jones, because he was a 1st round pick. And kind of unfortunately, I think, and sometimes it's slightly misplaced, but where you were drafted is kind of what gains to the expectation of what you to produce, that sort of thing. So Zappe being the 4th round pick, as I said, low expectations. So all of a sudden you've got a kid who didn't really know how good he was. Some people say he's a little bit short. I think he's something like 6'1". So as a short person myself, I find that a very difficult thing to say, but I understand in relativeness of quarterbacks, he's kind of not that tall. Still feels crazy to me, but that aside, he's got a little bit in regards to the limit of his height, and he's not the most mobile quarterback. He's not mobile, but again, like Mac, he's not the most mobile. And there's concerns in regards to his arm, depending upon who you talk to. He seems to have, a good arm and good accuracy, but I know that it's been commented before that he hasn't necessarily got a strong arm. But again, like Mac Jones, these are the same sort of things that we heard in regards to when Mac Jones came in. And the one thing that ticks the boxes for both of these quarterbacks is their football smarts. And I think that's why they were drafted by who they were drafted, as in the Patriots, because that seems to be a Patriot way. What they look for in quarterbacks, how they look at developing their quarterback, is they start with the smarts and then they go from there. So as a Patriots fan, as I said, to me, it's not much of a controversy, because it just seems to me as you've got your number 1 quarterback out on an injury, which obviously is terrible, and your second ring, if you like, quarterback, even though he was technically 3rd, seems a decent quarterback. A lot of people will shout, yeah, but it was against the Lions. Yeah, but this, yeah, but that. And you can only play who you're put in front of, sort of thing. You can only play to your schedule, type thing. So you can say the ifs and buts and candy and nuts type thing forever, but just looking at how he's performed, so many people have said poise. That word has been bandied about so much, and quite frankly, it should be, because he did show great poise, and he's worked within the system well. He did the things that they needed him to do, like ball security and that not taking too many scary risks as a rookie, that kind of thing. So Zappe's been successful. So we've got a successful number 2, shall we say. So for me, it gives breathing room for Mac Jones to not have to rush back from his injury, which is a good thing, because the last thing you need in this industry is to force a guy back onto the field to aggravate the initial injury, or to be not mobile enough, in his case, with it being his ankle, to cause a secondary injury because of something else. He's not quick enough to move out of the way of certain blocks that he would normally be able to, and so he's limiting his own ability, and then that could cause something worse, and the guy could lose years out of his career rather than weeks. So there's all these sorts of things to look at when you sort of call for Mac to return, or to keep Zappe in. So personally, from my perspective, I don't see it being a controversy, because to me, Mac is still the number 1 quarterback. Yes, Bailey Zappe has shown some success, but he's still, the 4th round, 2nd string, if you like, 3rd string, depending on what you want to say, quarterback. So I think it's a little bit quick to give the kid 2.5, should we say, 3 games, 2.5, 3 games, and all of a sudden commit to, well, he's number 1. He's a franchise quarterback. He's now leading the team, that kind of thing. So, yes, the future may hold that it turns out that Bailey Zappe evolves into a better quarterback than Mac Jones. Of course, there's always chances of that, and this is something that we can't foresee and isn't in my tea leaves, folks. So just so you know.
We're going to get to those tea leaves in a minute.
Yeah, we're going to get to this, but there was no Zappe in the tea leaves. I just see, as I said, my perspective is it stops Mac having to force himself back. I personally don't think there's the controversy of if he doesn't rush back, he's out of a job. And I think that the likes of Bill Belichick, the likes of Joe Judge, the likes of Matt Patricia have seen enough of the NFL to realise that just because Bailey Zappe has given them 2.5, 3 good games, possibly 4, depending on who starts in, with the Bears, that he's not suddenly replacing the kid who they've got as their number one quarterback. So I think they're smart enough to sort of see everything, see the whole picture. And I just think that's maybe what people are not guilty of, if you like. I don't really want to say that they're guilty, but for want of a better word, because I can't think of one right now, is being guilty of just looking at the small sample and catching the Zappe fever, as you said, and being like, well, he's been really successful. That's great. And Mac had, started off slow. So, that's not so great, that kind of thing. So we need patience. Patriots fans, you need patience and control, but we're passionate people. So it's difficult to warrant that patience and that control, but because we're so passionate. But yeah, I don't want to repeat myself, but I think personally, me, I don't see a controversy. I see it as a great thing that Zappe is good. We've got two decent quarterbacks as far as I am concerned. So, so let's just be happy.
Don't worry, be Zappe. I think that's good.
I didn't want to go there.
That's all right. I went there. I'm far from the first to say it, and I won't be the last. We've heard them all. The pursuit of zappiness.
Yeah.
I've gone, come on, get Zappe. Really showed my age there. But
wow.
Bottom line, I really think that you've added a great amount of perspective to this argument. And I say that no pun intended. But yeah, maybe a little pun intended because of your podcast. But look, I think that's what this argument right now, if you want to call it an argument, I'm not calling it a controversy. I think that's what this argument right now is lacking, is perspective. I wrote about this for Sports Illustrated a couple of days ago and immediately started to get labeled as a Zappe hater, things of that nature, getting comments and, the Twitter DMs about, oh, you're blinded by Mac and this kid is exactly what the Patriots need. I'm extremely impressed with what Bailey Zappe has done, not just the statistics that he's put up. You look at the numbers, just his numbers from Sunday, 24 of 34, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's the first quarterback since Sonny Jorgensen did it way back in the non-Super Bowl era to post 2 back-to-back games as a rookie quarterback with 100-plus passer ratings. That's an extremely, extremely impressive debut for the kid. So all the credit in the world, not just the statistics, but also what he does out of play action. He really runs that well. He's orchestrating some big play yardage gains. He really is able to, I think, take this offense and really mold it into his own image. So a lot of good stuff there, but I think people are forgetting how good of a rookie season Mac Jones had last year as well. And that if Mac comes back into the offense they're running now, and I'm sorry to say it, folks, it's not the same offense now that they were running in week 1 and week 2. They were trying a lot of new stuff. They were doing a lot of experimenting. If Mac comes into this offense now, I think the ceiling's even higher for where these guys can go.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the points that you made in regards to Zappe's numbers, yes, I'm not trying to take anything away from him. He was very successful and he looked very good. But you're also looking at a very small sample size as well. So it's two different things.
Absolutely.
Yes, he's successful. Yes, he's good. But it's a small sample size. And I'm not a but kind of person. It's great that he's had success. I just think it's the blowing it into something bigger than it really is right now. Come to the end of the season when we've got some more under our belt, maybe we've got some more of Zappe or we've got Mac back, like you said, in this offense. I'm really glad you mentioned that because that is definitely key. Then look at it. Just give yourself a little bit of you don't make many decisions when you go and buy something. Most of the time people do a little bit of research in regards to which thing they want kind of. It's just sort of a bit of that, really. We need a little bit more research on Bailey Zappe. We need a little bit more just to really see if he is. And again, I'm not being an anti-Zappe. I think he's great and it's fantastic that for me it's just fantastic that we've got a good number 1 and possibly a good number 2. So
absolutely. And that's something that I think, and again, fans need to keep in perspective. A quarterback controversy is not something that is designed to pit one guy against the other. And I think that in a lot of ways, that's exactly what you're seeing. And some of it is fueled by the media. Some of it is fueled by the fans. I blame Twilight personally because you got Team Mac and you got Team Zappe. And it's Team Patriots, folks. That's what we should be focused on. And Matt Chatham put this very eloquently in his tweet very shortly after the game, and that this is not a quarterback controversy, folks. It's a quarterback luxury. And that's exactly what I wrote about for Sports Illustrated, even before seeing Matt's tweet was, this is a matter of comfort for the Patriots. You have two
Yeah.
quarterbacks that are capable of coming in and running this offense, and it's the offensive changes as well that Bailey has definitely benefited from, and
Yeah.
that's obvious. That's something where you look at the Patriots offense in week 3 as to week 4, week 5, as things are progressing along. All of a sudden, you're looking at now, really at the 4th week, the 5th week, and the 6th week. I think you're seeing the pulling guards are coming back. You're seeing gap runs incorporated. The Patriots are able to spring free and utilize the running game. That's opened up play action. And because you're getting better blocking on the offensive line, you're getting offensive play caller Matt Patricia, who's getting a little bit more comfortable. Maybe he's not as bad as we all thought prior to the season. And you look at some of that, he's allowing Bailey to manage the short and intermediate areas of the field. And this is something the kid is doing very well. He's only averaging 6.4 depth yardage per target. That's not exactly lighting the world on fire in terms of seeing some of these completions that he's getting. Going to get to those in just a minute because one of Claire's favorites was on the receiving end of one of those. But he's generating the big play off of play action. So even though it's an effective situation for the New England Patriots, they're coming back to a place where I think no matter what happens with Bill Belichick's decision, they're bargaining from a place of strength. And I think that is a great thing for the New England Patriots. So that may be the reason why Zappe fever is the best thing to happen in New England in quite some time. Yeah. Like how I bring it all together there, Claire?
Yeah, very good.
Well, we're going to bring it all together in just a moment, folks, because you can see the smile on my co-host's face this morning. She cannot wait to talk about our next subject. And it does lend in to the prowess of Bailey Zappe in this game because Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith resurrected, folks. They were definitely involved in the passing game, and it brought a huge smile to Claire's face, and I'm sure a smile to all of yours as well. But Claire is going to give us her perspective and her wisdom and counsel the way only she can on tight endage when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues. But first, folks, these days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. And that's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team, and they help you do it faster, and they help you do it for free. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and you'd like to hire. Finish the year strong, and LinkedIn Jobs can help you do just that. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs the #1 site in delivering quality hires versus their leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the quality candidates you want to talk to, and they help you do it faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Patriots fans, the illustrious ClazzyClare Cooper joins me here today of Pats Propaganda and also a Clare Perspective, a Patriots podcast. Claire, in the previous segment, we talked a little bit about Zappe fever and some of the feelings that are gripping Patriots Nation right now, and we gave our perspective on why the Patriots are bargaining from a position of strength with two capable quarterbacks once Mac is back healthy. But there was another dynamic duo that was unleashed on Sunday, and I know you've been waiting a long time for this. We have all been waiting a long time for this. The Patriots tight ends were definitely a huge part of the Patriots offense on Sunday, and it looked great to see these two guys doing what they do well. Yards after the catch, chipping in, giving, I think both had a solid day of run blocking. I know PFF may not agree with Jonnu, but I looked at some of the tape. I think he did a better job than he's getting credit for. Hunter was right in there. He looks much more comfortable. Claire, you see things us mere mortals don't see when it comes to tight endage. I say it every week, but it is true.
You do.
So as you were watching this game, watching this progress, I know you saw Jonnu's big catch, and then you saw Hunter's touchdown. After the yelling, the wailing, and the screaming stopped, what were you looking at in terms of why the New England Patriots all of a sudden looked a little bit more comfortable incorporating the tight ends into the offense? And what were your thoughts on what this means for that position going forward as a key part of this team's scoring capabilities?
Well, after the yelling and the screaming had stopped, I had to then find my notebook that I'd flung. So then I had to find that. Then there was the barrage of tweets, which was lovely, from people like, "Oh, ClazzyClare, is she okay?" And let somebody check on Claire and things like this, which was amazing. I loved it. Thank you so much, everybody that did. Mwah, to you all. It was great. But yes, after all that had calmed down and you sort of get back to being professional. Yeah, you touched on it earlier when we discussed the quarterback. I think a lot of it has got to do with the way that the Patriots have kind of changed their offense back to how it sort of once was, sort of thing, in regard to like last year, that kind of thing. And two things, because they're utilizing Hunter in the same way that they did last season, even more so. He's blocking is more successful. And I know that in I believe it was in a press conference, I think it was Henry that said himself that he'd been working on it. Oh, Bill Belichick, I can't quote now, so I do apologize.
No, it's actually both of them did. Hunter mentioned it, and
it
Bill
was both
Belichick
of them.
gave
Oh, right,
credit
okay.
for it, so nope, you're right.
Yeah, they said that he'd been working on it, so I thought it was both of them. But yeah, so yeah, he's been utilized much more in the way that we have seen Hunter Henry be utilized last season, because that was successful. And I think a lot of that does go back to, as you said, the fact that they've sort of almost reverted back to some of the offensive ways, if you like, that they used to. I mean, Hunter, he was in something like 90%, 97% of the offensive plays of the game, and he did plenty of decent blocking, as you mentioned, in regards to what PFF has said. So, yeah, his skills in that regard are developing. It's needed in regards to the sort of few weaknesses that we've seen on the offensive line that I know they're working on. I know the offensive line is clicking much better now that Cannon is in there, that sort of thing. But that he's still being called upon to ascertain those blocks, and he's being more successful in them. So that's great. That's a good positive that he's working on that. And maybe now the offense play calling, playbook, however, whatever you want to brand it as, has moved along and clicked to how to use Jonnu Smith as well, because it did sort of seem earlier in the season the Patriots couldn't quite click on how they were going to use the tight ends. If they used them in the way that sort of was successful for Hunter, it was very unsuccessful for Jonnu. And then likewise, when they sort of were trying to incorporate the way Jonnu Smith plays, they weren't very successful in utilizing Hunter to the best of his abilities, as one tight end said once. So, yeah, I think maybe that sort of, as time has gone on, as the offense has gone on, and it's evolved and then maybe re-evolved, if you want to say, rather than reverted, re-evolved back into more successful ways. It's taken with it the fact that they sort of see how to utilize Smith, as we saw in the game, and, utilizing Hunter the way that we've seen before, the way that we know is successful. So I think the key in that aspect is that re-evolvement of the offensive plays, of the offensive use, of the offensive usage of the two tight ends. So I'm just hoping that, I know we've already covered quarterbacks, but I'm just hoping that if when they bring Mac back, when Mac does return to the offense, they don't then revert back to what was at the beginning and don't tend to utilize. I think
that's such
if
a
they
good
can
point.
Yeah, if they continue the role that they've got going, if you like, I don't think it matters if it's Zappe in or if it's Mac in, because of the similarities of the way those two individuals play anyway. I think as long as they utilize the rollingness of the offense, if they keep it going the way that they have, I think regardless of which QB is in, that they can be successful in the way that they utilize the tight end. So I'm just sort of waiting, just hoping and waiting for more tweets, more touchdowns, more tight end catches. I just love it.
More tight endage. That's it. That's
more tight endage. Yes, more tight endage.
Everybody's got Zappe fever. Clare has got a fever.
No.
And the only prescription is more Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. I gotta have it.
So true.
It's good.
Oh, we've let him do his. Oh no, it's all gone to pot now.
No, nobody wants to hear my walk-in. Trust me. No. I've already been told I talk too much as it is. If I start with these impressions, things could get really ugly in a hurry, folks. A lot more than they already are on this side of the camera. But in any case, I'm so glad that you mentioned reverting back, because I don't think the Patriots are going to do that. I think they're onto something here. And I think they're onto something here in terms of utilizing these players to their strengths. And I think you articulated it perfectly. It's a back to basics approach by Matt Patricia. He's getting these guys involved, utilizing them for what they're great for. And Hunter Henry is someone that is a traditional wide tight end. He's got excellent route running skills, great ability to box out on the block. So these are the ways that you can use him effectively. Jonnu is a red zone threat, but he can also be a middle of the field threat like we saw
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Mm.
Bailey Zappe's pass to him was right on the money. That's a 17-yard pass that Jonnu Smith turned into a 53-yard gain. That's 36 yards after the catch. That's impressive. Even Hunter's touchdown was a short yardage gain that Hunter found the seam, basically found, clear sailing to the end of the end zone. And that's not really something that happened by happenstance. Hunter picked up on that. Bailey read it perfectly. These guys are in perfect sync right now, as is, Zappe with Jonnu. But Jonnu and Hunter both kind of hinted at this in post-game press conferences and remarks since this game, saying that, we're still learning ourselves as an offense, and we've been making improvements each and every week. It goes deeper than the quarterback position. And I think that's why you're going to see the tight ends get involved a little bit more. Not just that, Claire, but also I think the fact that they're getting effective and they're getting competent blocking from their offensive line, something that didn't happen all the time last year. And Jonnu was press gagged into helping that area, and he was helping out a lot, especially someone even like a N'Keal Harry was going in and throwing blocks in the run game. The Patriots don't need to utilize a lot of their skill position players like that anymore because they've got guys like Michael Waynu, who's doing an amazing job, quietly having a phenomenal season over at the right guard position, and Marcus Cannon coming in and really, I think, stabilizing that line where Isaiah Wynn has struggled, and he continues to struggle, folks. And Murph and I talked about that on Monday. But ultimately, I think because everyone else is playing their role, it's going to allow the tight ends to play their role. So fear not, Countess. I don't think the tight ends are going anywhere. If anything, I think they're only going to get better. Whether Mack is throwing them the ball or whether it continues to be Zappe, I think they're on to something regardless of who is the quarterback. So good stuff when it comes to the tight endage, folks. And we're happy. Claire's happy. And if Claire is happy, that means that her prognosticative prowess, I like that one. You like the alliteration. That is going to be at its peak because, folks, we're about to read the tea leaves a little bit in just a moment. We're about to get clairvoyant, and the clairvoyance is going to be flowing in just a moment when we wrap up this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast. But first, let me tell you a little bit about one of our great sponsors here on the Locked On Podcast Network, and that are our good friends at BetOnline.net, your number one source for your football betting information this season. You can find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, in-depth articles, and analysis on every game you can find. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all of your sports wagering information. That includes live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including the exciting Major League Baseball playoffs going on right now, MMA, boxing, golf, you name it. BetOnline's got a beat on it. So head over to betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Patriots fans, the illustrious ClazzyClare Cooper joins me here today, as she always does each and every Wednesday on Locked On Patriots. And Claire, we've had a lot of fun talking quarterbacks, tight endage, even broke out a little walk-in impression. It's been a good day so far, but our day is about to get even better, folks, because seeing that the Countess of Claz herself is such a prolific prognosticator, we introduced a new segment here last week on Locked On Patriots, and it was a rousing success. And I say that with every bit of sincerity. That's right, folks. You've been waiting for it. It is here. It's time for a little clairvoyance. And we got to get some music or something like that to kind of beef this, segment up a little bit. I'm working on it, folks. But bottom line, it is the wisdom and counsel. It is the ability to see the future of my co-host here that makes the segment what it is. Last week, Claire was pretty wisdomous, to lack of a better term. Not only did she predict the Patriots' 30-10 victory, which was dangerously close to that 38-15 final we saw in Cleveland, she was right on the dime in predicting the Tyquan Thornton jet sweep touchdown. So, once again, we ask you, the Countess of Claz, to gaze into your crystal ball. Read the tea leaves, Countess, please, for the sake of all of us here in Patriots Nation. And let's take an early look at the Patriots' Week 7 opponent, Monday Night Football, coming up against the Chicago Bears.
Well, I'm very displeased because I don't like these late games because with the 5-hour time difference, I am very displeased. It's with these late games. I mean, I know obviously a lot of people like them to be in prime time, and I fully understand the kind of the commercial aspect of that. For me, it's hard going when it's like a 1 a.m. start and stuff like that. So yes, I will admit Monday Night Football, I am displeased. However, we'll check the tea leaves, shall we, folks? But no, in all seriousness, I mean, an early look at the Bears. The one thing that kind of stands out is how a quarterback that they took that was kind of pitted to be fantastic. Everybody, he was really clamored for that kind of thing. Lots of people, lots of Patriots fans wanted him at the Patriots. He's just really seemed to have struggled in his development. And the main thing that I can see is that he struggles to get rid of the ball. And unfortunately for him, that's something that the Patriots can definitely exploit and, really work on, force the turnovers in regards to that. They've got a good, strong defense. Matthew Judon is a thing of quarterback nightmares, as I wrote in my game recap for Pat's Propaganda. So, yeah, he is definitely out there with Dietrich's Wise. I mean, if you've got these two guys coming at you, I mean, you're going to get rid of the ball really quickly, but it's going to be semi-unsuccessful. So, it's going to take a lot. So I think that even though he is a good quarterback in maybe not the best situation, I mean, the Bears as people this probably isn't news for people, but I pulled up my PFF stats and stuff like that, my ESPN stats, and the Bears are ranked 31st overall at the moment. The Patriots are ranked 12th. The defense, 31st for the Bears, and the offense, 31st for the Bears. So the Patriots are looking at 15th and 17th. So, they're middle of the pack kind of performance, if you like. So really on paper, when you look at it, if there was a blowout with the Lions, you'd really predict it doesn't take the tea leaves to tell you folks that, there's a good chance that it's going to be a kind of blowout. It should be. Now, will it be is another matter entirely, because we're talking about the NFL and nothing is predictable when it comes to the NFL, really.
No, it is not.
However, a lot of people do believe, I think this is a game that the Patriots can win, regardless of who they've got in at quarterback, if it's Zappe or if Matt comes back, that kind of thing. I'm going. Let's just check for prediction. Have we got a prediction in here, folks? Ooh, okay. I'm not gonna drag it out any longer. I've got Patriots 31, Bears 9.
31-9. Who am I to argue with the tea leaves at this point, folks? I mean, she has been right on the money. This is excellent. This is something that I think is definitely a good thing for the New England Patriots. It's definitely a good thing for their fans. And, if the Pats keep playing the way they've been playing, it's very hard to, argue the contrary on this. I think New England right now is in a very good position to be able to build on some solid improvements they've made on both sides of the ball, folks. I know Claire and I have had a lot of fun talking about the offense, but the adjustments they've made on defense on this team and the emergence of players like Dietrich Wise and Kyle Duggar, who are absolutely playing all over the field, playing shutdown football. The cornerbacks, really, I mean, Jack Jones, Marcus Jones have done a great job of, blending in with solid veterans like Jonathan Jones, Jalen Mills. It really, really is a joy to watch this team on defense right now the last couple of weeks, because they've shut down not only one, but two of the top rushing teams in the NFL. All right, you want to give them a pass on Detroit? I don't think so, because I still think Jamal Williams is an excellent runner. I know they were without DeAndre Swift, but you can't say that about the Cleveland Browns. They had Nick Chubb, they had Kareem Hunt, and those guys were at full strength. And the Patriots were able to shut them down using a solid strategy and having guys like Wise and Matt Judon come over and help out in the run game. They're without Lawrence Guy doing this. Imagine when Lawrence comes back and he's healthy and ready to go. So I like what the tea leaves have to say. Keep those flowing, Claire, because we love the ClareVoyance, and we'll definitely be on the lookout and on the watch for some big plays or something to hang our hat on, and something we can all tweet at Claire on Monday night and keep her up past her bedtime as well. So
one more, I reckon. I want a Hunter Henry touchdown, but I foresee a Jonnu Smith touchdown.
Yep. a Jonnu Smith touchdown. Write it down, folks. She predicted Tyquan Thornton last week. This week she's getting Jonnu. The tea leaves have spoken. Claire has spoken. And the clairvoyance right now is about to leave us for the week. But at the same time, folks, you will carry that clairvoyance into Monday night's game. And fear not, because here on Locked On Patriots, we are going to continue to break down the Patriots' Monday night matchup with the Bears. Tomorrow, crossover Thursday with Lauren Cox, host of Locked On Bears, going to be a real fun one. And to close out the week in style here on Locked On Patriots, our good friend and predecessor, Mark Schofield, drops by the pod, and he's going to give his thoughts on the Chicago Bears. Bailey Zappe, Mac Jones, Justin Fields. You will not find a better expert in the world than my good friend Mark on quarterbacks. And we're going to talk a lot about the Pats and the Bears. So please continue to make Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage and also your first listen every day. And now that you've made us your first listen, please make your second listen our good friends over at Peacock and Williamson. They give you all the latest information on the NFL site-wide, and they do it in under 30 minutes. Definitely download, subscribe to, follow wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to download, subscribe to, and follow Locked On Patriots and smash that subscribe button on YouTube. Countess, it is always my honor, my humble pleasure for you to join me on the pod each and every week. Thank you for lending your wisdom and counsel the way only you can. And thank you for being an amazing guest here on Locked On Patriots. We love having you, and we can't wait to have you join us next week here for more tea leaf reading, more clairvoyance, more tight endage, more everything. We can't, we just can't wait. So in the meantime, folks, please continue to stay safe, stay well, be the change that you wish to see in the world. On behalf of the esteemed Countess of Claz herself, Claire Cooper, I'm Mike Debate. Have a great day, everyone.